how do we cultivate patience in our life, which is normally very difficult? We can find the answer in nature, because if we observe nature, we immediately see that nature is very patient. And it's able to wait for the right time for a flower to bloom, for a plant to lose the leaves, to have them back. So nature allows us to learn a sense of rhythm, which means knowing that everything always happens at the right time. And if it's not the right time, it simply doesn't happen. So in the Japanese shamanism, and specifically in the Japanese aesthetic, there is a big concept which is called JO-HA-KYU, which is the sense of rhythm. So the principle of the right time and the right rhythm combined together. So we know that everything in the forest follows this principle. So plants go through long periods of time when they do not grow. Then at the right time, they begin to develop and grow in a quick way. And flowers, as I said, bloom at the right time. Animals come out at the right time. So knowing how to seize the right moment is a matter of instinct that we need to rely on in the same way nature does. And so when we are walking in a forest, we become part of nature. So when we meet an insect, an animal, we know that it's the right time for each other to meet. And in that moment, we become part of the forest. We also need to say that in the concept of time, there is no past and future, but everything is happening right now in the same way the Argentinian writer Borges was saying. Everything happens right now to me. So the concept of time, we normally see that in a linear way, but it's actually circular. So things are coming back and everything is happening in the same moment. Of course, this requires to have complexity, so using a mind that is not the mind of the logic that we have, that is not the rational mind. It would require to be a little bit more open to understand this concept. And we also need to say that the concept of rhythm is connected with the element of impermanence. And we know that everything is impermanent in life, so things arrive and disappear basically straight away. By the moment we are in touch and we meet something, is already fade away. In the same way in our life, by the moment we are born, we start to die in the same exact moment. And this is saying to us that nothing is graspable, nothing can be held, but everything needs to disappear, and for them to be able to come back again. And this connects us with the concept of the WABI SABI, which is, again, in the Japanese aesthetic. Wabi is a manifestation of beauty through simplicity, imperfection, incompleteness, sweet sadness, fragility. And it's this feeling of letting go of what you love rather than holding and possessing. And it's also a principle of elegance and evolution, and is the beauty given by time that makes things and people full of experience. You know, when we are becoming old, we become full of experience. Which makes all our mistakes in our life beautiful elements of learning, a beautiful opportunity of learning. And it also gives us a lot of memories because we have emotions and they remind inside our life. And Sabi is the feeling of things fading away. So what is worth believing is in balance and moderation, humility, rhythm as well. And again, it's connected with this capacity of not holding back, to have faith in the journey, to have faith in the process, in this transit between life and death, between visible and invisible. And this Wabi Sabi teaches us the journey of impermanence. It teaches us that small things are then evolving in big things and then coming back, vice versa. So there is never a state of stability, because when things are stable, actually they are stagnant, and that moment doesn't exist. So we need always to be able to be in a constant flow, on a constant movement, accepting that once we have reached something for a few seconds, then we need to move on and be ready to lose it, so that then we can create some space, can be created for something bigger to come. And sometimes losing things is actually a gift, is actually a blessing, because by getting something that our mind wants, we would have probably remained stuck in some situation. And while then we trust that exactly what is coming to us is what is good for our soul, for our evolution, and this allows to open up a bigger space, a bigger opportunity in our life for us to learn something that is exactly what our soul needs, and not necessarily these experiences are pleasant, so they can be sometimes very harsh. And so to learn patience, we need to remain connected with also the search of the perfect gestures, which is very much connected to the path of the Yamabushi, the shamanic, the Japanese shamanism, but also in general to the Japanese experience, and also the esoteric Buddhism. So the right gesture is the beautiful gesture in the natural context. And exactly they have a suffix that they add to words, which is do, when they connect what they are doing with this search of the right gesture. So it's normally associated in some arts, because it's a transformation of that spiritual arts, that practice into something else. So for example, we have the Budo, which is the way of martial arts, Kendo, the way of the sword, Aikido, the way of harmony and energy, Kyudo, the way of archery, Judo, the way of yielding, Chado, the way of tea preparation, Shodo, the way of writing, Karate is Kate-do, is the way of Karate-do, Karate-do is the way of the empty hand, where this importance of the emptiness is emphasized, because all the images come from something that is empty, they come from the void, and so they also dissolve back into the void. So it means that this journey of the WABI SABI, this journey of in the search of patience, in the search of the imperfection, or in the search of perfection through the imperfection, is a journey that requires courage. Because we need to find exactly strength when something is missing, when something is in the void, when something is not in front of us. And we have faith in this void, because it is exactly this void is the opportunity, the space that we need in order to be able to create the shape, in order to be able to open up to the images that come from the universe, from which then we can manifest what we like.